What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Make It Kustom. I'm Carl Fisher, and today I'm going to introduce a new project. See how much space we got in here? We moved everything around. We got the hoist outside. It's because we got something big that we're going to roll in, and you may or may not have guessed it, and I know that our custom crew members already know. The next big project is that cab over outside. That cab over is a 1971 GMC COE fire truck from Campbell River. It's a local, not even really local, it's on Vancouver Island, Campbell River. This thing has 16,000 original miles on it. I found the original ticket book inside of it. It's only written 49 tickets in its life. And basically what happened is that it went into storage after it was retired as a fire truck. A tow truck company bought it. They were planning on making it into a tow truck. That never happened. It went into storage. That person stopped paying for their storage. It was owned by the storage company, sold by the storage company, left there again, collected by the storage company. And this place used to be where I'd go sandblasting, so I'd see it all the time. Every time I sandblasted a frame, this truck was there. I always joke with the guy, and I kind of kept tabs on this fire truck because I thought that cab was so cool. It's got the extra addition on the back side of the cab that fire trucks do to keep their guys under cover that are riding in behind on their way to the fire. So what I did is I made a deal with the owner of this storage yard, and the deal was I'd buy the truck. I got it for $1,500, if you can believe that. But I made sure to include in the deal that I had a month to get it out of there, and I had the use of his large forklift. And the reason being is that my plan was not to use the original chassis. I have no need for a 5-ton air brake gas V8 632. Biggest gas V8 that GM ever created was in this frame. So I sold the chassis within that month for $1,500 and basically got a free cab. Me and my buddy Riley went out there, we picked the cab off, kept all the torsion bars, tilting mechanism, everything. It's a rust-free, complete COE cab that we're gonna make a super killer car hauler out of. And let's just go have a look at it, okay? So what's gonna happen is Brent from Halfass Kustoms. If you don't know him, definitely check him out. The guy's an animal. LS swapping everything, building GM vehicles, and, well, not just GM vehicles, building all his vehicles basically like in a couple months. He's crazy. So he asked me, he's like, hey, I'm gonna be in town for 4 days. You got something to work on? Let's do something together. And I was so happy to talk to him about doing the COE project. So this COE, man, it's windy out here. This is what we're gonna do, the fire truck car hauler. I got my dad's, this is kind of special to me a little bit. This is my dad's work truck from when we were kids. I remember, you know, being like, put glass packs on it, and he'd always go setting off car alarms and stuff with his gardening truck coming home from the dump. So this truck was retired because it rusted out, the cab's toast, but it's got a rebuilt diff in it with 411 posi, and it's got a rebuilt all front suspension. It's got a rebuilt turbo 400 tranny. Mind you, we're not gonna use any of the drivetrain. We're gonna go LS with it all. That's also Brent's specialty. He loves putting LS's and stuff. They just run great. So we are gonna do just that. We are gonna go LS powered, 2-wheel drive, 1-ton chassis, COE car hauler, do a wedge deck type situation is the thought. And I'm definitely gonna do air ride on it, something I always wanted to do. So I'm not saying that this is gonna take over the whole channel, but we are gonna start incorporating it into the videos and picking away at it so that we've got something to haul the hot rod to shows. So I think Elio and I today, our goal is to get that truck inside. We wanna rip the cab off of it, rip the motor and tranny out of it, get it pressure washed, have the chassis ready. Brent and I from Halfass, Brent is gonna come here for 4 days. So we are gonna slam for 4 days straight and try and get as much done as possible. So my job until he gets here by the end of the month is to make sure that I have everything ready. So I'm doing my parts ordering. Elio and I are gonna prep this chassis. We're gonna try and get as much stuff ready to go so that when Brent gets here, we just and assemble as much as we can. So let's get this video started. Thanks a lot. Don't forget to like, click subscribe, hit notifications. Let's build a car hauler. No, no column. Man, can you smell my clutch? I'm trying to tow this thing in with the hot rod and like just using the weight of the hot rod, so I'm hopefully trying not to burn my clutch out. But the right rear, like passenger rear drum is just seized on this old truck. Like it's been sitting for so many years, it's just rusted to the drum, so there's something we're gonna have to deal with. But man, I feel like the hot rod's getting put to work. My poor hot rod. Wow. Oh, hey there. See this? You know why we got that, right? It's the first time that truck's moved in a while. I've got the fire extinguisher because I think the fastest way to get this cab off of here is just to torch all the bolts on it. Everything looks like it's gonna be really, really tough. And so what I'm thinking, well, somebody already took the steering column out and the brake pedals and all that. So that's one thing that's attached to the cab that we won't have to undo. Steering column's gone, so I'm gonna undo the cab bolts themselves and the rad support, because I'm gonna try to lift the cab with front fenders, rad support, radiator, kind of the whole thing off as one if we can. I've never done that before, but I don't see why it won't work. And my brother wants to make a barbecue out of Dad's old cab. So he gets the top, I get the bottom, everybody's happy. Let's get to cutting. That was weird. It's fine now. So when I'm washing bolts off, it's like they cut on each side and then the rest of it kind of falls off. If I hit it with a hammer, it'll just be loose, hopefully. Another one back here. Is that all there is? Only 6? This one doesn't want to go. There it is. Even if it doesn't want to move, it's off. Okay. We got to cut the fuel line, drain the fuel tank. The fuel tank in these trucks is in behind the cab, not on the frame. So it actually goes into the cab. We're going to have to cut that off. And then we're just going to look for any other pieces that could be attached. I think it'll just be wires on the engine bay and that kind of thing, right? Okay. Next. Oh, at least it doesn't, it's not gonna drain the whole tank because it's from the top.
Is it? I don't know what
they
these.
suck,
I have
yeah,
no
I
idea.
think they suck from the top.
Oh, I
think they do.
Because on the 56 Dad's truck, it goes from the bottom for sure.
Oh, does it?
Oh, that's better then.
Well, that it sure smells like old gas, though. See? Yeah, so that's all we gotta worry about there.
Okay, cool.
Easy peasy. Okay.
I mean, sometimes like I thought it would be on the bottom.
Yeah, me too. Okay, give her a shot. It's gonna be something. What do we think? Try again, bud. Yeah, we're coming up. Stop. Is the front, because it's hooked underneath this bumper? Like the whole back of the cab's up right now. I don't know if we can push this back.
Oh, we have to push the chassis forward.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Okay, so let's just get a pry bar and just try it?
Well, the back wheel's locked, so.
Oh, look, right now it's locked here, eh?
Huh?
Okay, so these tire is what's making our life difficult, because if we want to just move this chassis around, it's going to be a bit of a beast. So Elio and I have just been kind of brainstorming as to how to maybe pop this free. What we're going to do is just quickly jack it up. We're going to rip the tire off of it. I found this for whatever reason I have. I'm going to cut it up to use it to weld a big bar to, and that big bar will basically be a lever advantage on these studs, and we're gonna either lift it with the forklift or lay the bar this way and lift it with, we'll probably lift it with the forklift and just use the forklift extension bar on this plate and then try and lift it to see if we can crack this, because one way or another we're gonna use this rear end, and you know, if we just gotta replace the outer drum, it's not a big deal, but it's obviously seized, so let's figure it out. You say you would have given up on cars?
I've never in my life.
You never had to unstick a brake drum?
No, not like this.
No?
No.
See? Look, too late. We'll all get big butts this way. I don't know. Let's try it, both of us.
Yeah,
I couldn't do it
not
myself. Might have to just go drag it around, roll it around a bit.
Yeah.
Start it up.
That worked. I didn't think it'd be like that. Whoopsies.
I didn't realize I torched the fuel line. So body mounts are off. We stripped everything out, motors out, had a little fire. Just a little bit of a fuel. Didn't realize I was torching a fuel line. I was just kind of like in a trance, torching fire. But basically, what we're thinking about doing with this thing is we're gonna put the motor behind the cab. And the reason being is that like that cab, I mean, it's a tilting cab, but if we were to put the motor directly underneath the cab, to work on the motor, to access the motor, you gotta tilt the cab, and that's kind of a pain.
And I think it'll be way easier just to like solid mount it and then have access from the back.
Yeah.
And then you can build the floor. Well, I mean, there's an access panel in the cab already, but like you can have way more room and stuff in the back seat.
Yeah, yeah, and Brent and I were back and forth on this. Elio and I have been back and forth on this because like there's kind of pros and cons to either way. But at the end of the day, it's going to be easier. It's probably going to be faster. And if we need to drop the motor out, you could either pull it from the top through a hole in the deck, which we don't have to decide that right now, or you could just build a cradle and drop it out from underneath, which like the frame's totally wide enough.
Yep.
And the whole LS engine just plugs in like its own harness, right? So if we built some kind of a cradle thing, you could drop the motor out from the bottom, or you could pull it from the top. Either way, it's gonna go back here, so these cross members gotta go. Basically, everything's gotta go. Yeah, in preparations, right? It's all
Yeah,
gotta- it's
yeah,
all gotta
those
go.
two have to go, and then maybe that rear one, but like we'll just keep that one for now.
Yeah, that one we can leave for now. It's gonna be air ride, right? So we're gonna C-notch all that. We might have to extend the wheelbase a little bit. There's gonna be something that we gotta do with this steering box because it's angled crazy in the wrong direction. You know? It's like way back, but the cab, your steering wheel's gonna be up here, so there's a bit to figure out there.
Yeah.
This thing's heavy. It's in the shop. It's huge. This is the first time that this has ever been in the shop since we put the card on it. But man, like, it's pretty big. So I might as well show you everything about this cab. Let's have a look inside. Like I was saying before, 16,000 original, not even 16, 15,000 original miles on that speedometer. It's got like a wood grain dash. Everything's chrome, like it's fire truck kind of bling. And that's what I love so much about this cab. And of course, this extension that is a fire truck only thing. Yeah, I just think it's so neat. And how it's got no rust. It was a giant truck. It sat inside most of its life other than when it was at the storage yard. But this is it. It's got it's got a phone. I guess, I don't know if that would have been CB radio or what. Here's the notice of violation booklet. Campbell River Fire Department. This is the 51st ticket. So I guess it wrote 50 tickets in its whole life. Like, Campbell River is a small town. Like, I'm sure it saw no action. But, yeah, I'm pretty excited. Pretty excited to get going on this thing. One thing Elio and I are noticing is that this thing is way wider than that. Like, obviously it's wider, but it's like way wider. So it'll be interesting to see how it fits on the chassis, and there's no real way to know until we just do it. Like, it looks like this thing will sit over the chassis and touch the ground. Like, it's got so much room. So yeah, that's what we're gonna work on next. The frame's all cleaned off. I guess, yeah, let's have a look at that. Frame's totally clean, took all the clips off. There's a million little holes that we could fill if we wanted to make it all nice and smooth. The wheelbase of the chassis, that's gonna have to get lengthened a little bit for what our plans are with that. Like, it's gonna be an 18-foot deck, so we're thinking 2, maybe 3 feet extension of the wheelbase on the chassis. This frame has actually been shortened. You can see right here, there's some, there's like multi-pass welds and a backing plate that's bolted on because they shortened this chassis for the dump truck that it was. So we're just gonna make it long again, I guess. But yeah, let's get to it. I'm gonna take that off of the cart, get the cart under my dad's old truck cab so that my brother can make it into a barbecue in the field. And then we're gonna try and just get this cab onto the 2-post hoist and hover it over top of this chassis and take some measurements and stuff to kind of plan out how it's gonna mount, what it's gonna look like, where the brackets are gonna go. So that's what's next.
Zach.
Yeah, we're pretty dead center.
I think the mirrors might get a little bit, but
You're good fit.
on that side. Oh! No, we're good, we're good, we're good.
So I think pull the, yeah, exactly.
And then add them on the back.
What's that?
And then add them on the back.
To double it up?
Yeah, on the back. Because the back is this much.
I don't think it needs double. I don't think it's that much. But it does.
It's this much, no?
No, it isn't.
Oh, okay.
Well, we gotta come forward a bit.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's that much.
Let's have a look. I'm pretty sure it's not, dude.
It's on a mad angle right now.
It's not that big of an angle.
Oh no. Okay, we'll do one.
Okay, ready? Oh, are we not plugged in? We should be plugged in.
We might not be plugged in. Wow, your eye measure is pretty good.
I kind of like bent this thing. But
Oh no.
whatever. That's okay.
You want to drop
This
it?
thing, yeah, let's drop it again.
We'll
We'll
move the
reduce
arms a
all
little
this too. We'll reduce this too. Good?
Yep. Yeah, we're on the inside corner now.
Nice!
Cool.
Okay, but chassis slid under there.
I feel way safer with this than the whole truck. That's just good.
Dude, what do you think you're gonna do that? What? What are you doing? How can you can do that?
Dude, that thing's ginormous. What are you doing?
Oh my god, it's so epic.
When you mislegged it. The whole van can fit inside it. Like the cab is bigger than the van.
You know what you do is you could actually take that cover off and just let it run the cables over.
Oh, what?
Yeah, the cover's like not even on.
Oh, okay.
Go there.
Good. Is it videoing?
Yeah.
Videoing. What did I say?
He can just fully slam. Makes a 1-ton chassis look like a Fiat. That's hilarious, dude. Yeah, obviously it's not gonna sit there. Like, we're gonna have to raise it up, but that just shows
No, but
how gigantic it is, right?
But like, do you even need to raise it up? Like...
You have to raise it up. You gotta have ground clearance, dude.
Oh, yeah. No, I understand that.
It's gotta raise it up. Like at full height, maybe somewhere like that.
Yeah, because that's where it would sit on the stock frame where
Like then you can still turn and stuff, you're not interfering with anything. Like you can still turn lock to lock like that, look. Even there. Wherever 8 inches is, right? 8 inches
Yeah.
is suspension travel. Or maybe 10 if you get it up. Hilarious. Oh, it's epic. Let's have a look at this thing from the front angle here. Really got to get that bumper and stuff on there. Yeah.
transformer.
It's so gigantic on this chassis. Man, there's like a foot. You could run like 15-inch full reverse wheels on it and still turn. Dang. Yeah, like come look at it. Come look at it from here. Come check it out from the full side profile. I feel like you can't even see the chassis. Otherwise, it looks like a cab is just floating. You can kind of see the cab's not really exactly where it's going to be. It's got to go forward a little bit, but can I bump it forward without worrying that I'm going to? No, you're going to come off. Am I? Yeah, you could bump it a little. Anyway, it is really far in there. I think that could almost be a problem. I'm not sure. I'm sure Brent has some ideas too. Like we could have a different offset wheel. The problem with having a wheel spaced out further away from where it's supposed to be, it changes your steering geometry because the pivot point or the axis of your ball joints where your spindle pivots, now your wheel's out further, so your tires wear differently. Now there's more force, like mechanical advantage, not mechanical advantage, but leverage on your ball joints, so your ball joints have a little more stress. I wouldn't be scared to pop them out a little bit, you know. I don't think it'd be that big of a deal, but it definitely doesn't look good having a small rim and tire inside that big of a wheel opening. Like this was a 5-ton truck, right? So definitely planning on getting some like Alcoas or some like 22.5 or 24-inch rig wheels, maybe with a slightly low profile tire, or maybe we'll talk to American Force and see if they've got something to say about it. But I don't know. It definitely looks tiny in here. Oh man. Cool though, I'm stoked. It's on the chassis. I mean, that's like a big step in the right direction as far as figuring out what we need to do suspension-wise, what we need to do box-wise, what we need to do engine-wise, how everything's gonna mount, where we can put things, where we're gonna extend the frame. Now we can actually kind of measure and look at it as well as figure out steering, cab mounts, all that kind of stuff, like at least it hovering in its position now. We've got a lot of work to do. So thanks a lot for watching Make It Kustom, everybody. This was a really fun one. Me and Elio really had a great time working on this together. We spent 2 days, that's all it took, to make this video, basically. Rip that apart, get the cab off for Benny, pull the motor and trans, clean the frame up, swap the cab over. It all went pretty good. So the next time you see this build, Brent will be here. We will be we'll be figuring it out. We're gonna try and get this thing like running and driving while he's staying with me at Make It Kustom. So don't forget to like, click subscribe, hit notifications, and if you would like to be a part of Custom Crew, there'll be a link right at the end of the video hovering, and it's $5 a month. We really appreciate it. You get a badge by your name, and then you also end up getting your comments answered like for sure every single time, that sort of thing. Anyway, we'll catch you on the next one, guys. Thanks a lot. Have a good one.